Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great Minds in Philosophy series. Now, this is just going to be an introductory explanation as to what this is going to be. It's a very exciting new project that I've put together over the last few weeks and months. Now, essentially, what we're going to be doing is taking some time to examine in great detail the works of some of the greatest minds within the history of philosophy. So, the purpose of this series is to provide you with some of the most interesting ideas that these different philosophers had. And we are essentially going to be making them mini series or a mini series of lessons. So, a maximum of about 10 videos, for example, focusing on each of these individual different philosophers. Now, one of the reasons why this is the case that I wanted to do this was essentially to cover a broader focus of different philosophical ideas rather than spending, about 30 or 40 lessons looking at, for example, metaphysics and then epistemology and then moral philosophy, etc., etc. Instead of doing that, dotting around each of the individual philosophers and each individual great minds in philosophy and going deep on their ideas specifically. Now, that's not to suggest that the bigger series are not still going to be coming, and we're still going to be uploading lessons. We're going to be doing existentialism and continuing with existentialism in the coming weeks and months. So that's still going to be taking place. But I think the Great Minds in Philosophy series is going to be a really, really good way of allowing you to have a better interaction with specific ideas that have been essentially developed by specific philosophers. And it also has the added benefit of being relatively small. It doesn't require, should I say, a lot of, as much effort, should I say, to create a series of lessons that is limited to 10 rather than doing 40 or 50 plus on metaphysics, for example. And it also means that we can discuss and debate and vote on who the next person it is you want me to cover. So essentially what I'm planning on this going to be is that in the next couple of weeks we will start the first one, which I will reveal the first Great Minds in Philosophy series in a minute. And then from there, I will put a vote up for a selection of other philosophers that you want me to cover next. And the aim is to have a real array of different philosophical thinkers from all across the spectrum. So whether that be temporally, so if you want me to cover and do 10 lessons on Plato or another ancient philosopher, then absolutely that sounds great. Or if you want me to do an Enlightenment philosopher like Kant, again, all of these things are really, really good. But also geographically, if you want me to focus on philosophers that exist and live within the sort of Western tradition of philosophy, then that sounds good. Or if you want me to go and look at Eastern philosophy, looking at some of the other areas from around the world that is often overlooked in a lot of at least European and American universities when they teach philosophy. There's a lack of focus on the sort of Western or even African continental kinds of areas of philosophy as well. So the first of these series I'm going to begin with, and that I have already planned a few lessons for already, is the philosopher John Rawls, who is one of the most profound and prolific political philosophers from the 20th century. And I'm going to spend about 10 or so lessons examining and going deep into some of the most important and most fundamental theories of John Rawls. And then about halfway through that series, so we'll be doing weekly episodes, and about halfway through that series, I will put a thing on the community tab, a vote for you to essentially vote for the next of these great philosophical minds, and we will see who actually comes out, and then they will then be the plan for the next series of philosophical thinkers. That is the aim, essentially. So I hope you are looking forward to this series of philosophy. I'm really looking forward to doing it and to completing each of these series. It's going to be really, really fun. We're going to get engaged in a lot of really interesting philosophical ideas and debates. They're going to be released on a weekly basis. I will make a determination as to the day closer to the time in which we've released the first episode, and they will be released in conjunction with the bigger series of lessons that we're going to be doing. So we're still continuing with existentialism, for example, and I'm also going to be finishing the lessons on the philosophy of time and the lessons on normative ethics as well. So these are things that we're going to run alongside these series. Well, I hope everybody's excited. I hope everyone is having a good time. I hope everyone is looking forward to the first of these Great Minds in Philosophy series. And I hope you all engage with the votes in the new series when we are looking at a new philosopher to engage with.